Hi, everyone. It is John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur here, coming at you tonight with a really great show. IFYL. If you guys are new to the channel, IFYL Inspirations for Your Life, you're going to notice there at the top right hand corner, there is a QR code. If you go ahead and scan that QR code with your phone, you'll be directed over to my link tree. That's linktr.ee, and you'll get lots of great free information and videos and stuff that can help you become a better version of yourself and help everyone else become better versions of themselves as well. And every single day, we have a new subtopic that's based on the main topic of the week. If you're coming back, well, welcome back, my friends, fellows, and colleagues, associates. It's great to have you here because there's so many great things that we're doing. And if you're coming back, and it's great to see you again. I hope that some of the new people will become just like some of the older people that have been here for a while, and you guys will become longtime supporters as well. So, what is that topic that we're talking about tonight? Well, that's a great question. The topic we're talking about tonight is, what would you like in your box of chocolates? And we're on the third episode of that. When we think about chocolates, I had one the other night. There's always this enigma or mystery of what is going to be inside the chocolate. Am I going to like the chocolate? Is it going to be salty, caramel? Is it going to be bitter? Is it going to be very rich? Is it going to have some fruit taste to it? What's it going to be like? And I think the biggest thing when people go for a piece of chocolate is they try to judge the chocolate based on what it looks like from the outside. But you really can't judge a chocolate based on the way it is. I mean, sometimes you can, right? We know that certain square ones are caramel if you like caramel ones. But it's hard to differentiate what's a chocolate that we're going to like and a chocolate we don't like. And when we get a piece of chocolate that we don't like, we immediately create a stereotype, right? And that stereotype blocks us from everything else. And that's what I want to talk about tonight, is that your chocolates should not be getting you to stereotype. No. So if you have a piece of chocolate and let's say it has a round top on it, and maybe it's kind of, I don't know, like an oval shape, or maybe it's a pyramid shape, you know that that's going to have some kind of a caramel in it. And that caramel is maybe not going to be the greatest thing. It just isn't. Why? I think it's because you're expecting something, but then for whatever reason, you don't get what you actually want, right? And you become frustrated with that. And then you create the stereotype that all chocolates that look somewhat like that must have a bad taste. Now, people do this in life, right? If somebody does something wrong or somebody annoys someone, we automatically presume that someone else is going to be the exact same way. But the truth of the matter is, they're not. For example, let's say that you had somebody in your life, and let's say they stole from you. And now somebody else comes into your life that's about the same age, same look, or the same demeanor, and you right away start to label them as somebody that's also stealing, somebody that's probably not going to be good. But the truth of the matter is, that's not truthful. And so when we stereotype someone, we actually classify them, and now we basically say that all of those chocolates are bad. But there could be some great chocolates. There could be some truffles in there. There could be some peanut butter and chocolate, which are great. There could be some nuts in there if you like nuts. There could be some liqueur if you like liqueurs in some of them. So when we classify something, I think the biggest problem is that when we do that, we think that we're protecting ourselves. But what we're doing is we're putting up this barrier between ourselves and the other person, the other object, or the world. So let's talk about that in terms of success, right? If you want to be successful, and let's say you hit a roadblock, right? You hit this roadblock. And so what happens when you hit the roadblock? Well, you suddenly think that everywhere you turn, there's going to be a roadblock. Now, that might seem like really, really crazy to you, but the truth of the matter is, it's not. And so I want you to understand that it's not about you being, how can I say, against the concept. Okay, it's not that, but what it does come down to is, what does this represent in my life? If it represents something great, well, that's fantastic, right? But if suddenly we have a negative experience or it doesn't go the way we want, then we start to alienate things and say, okay, all chocolates must be bad. Maybe you dyed Easter eggs and maybe one of them is cracked. All right. But for whatever reason, they're not all cracked. But because you saw one or two that are cracked, you think they're all cracked and they're all going to be bad. People do this with diamonds. People do this with people they're picking for a team. A lot of times it comes down to the fact that others don't want to sift through the questionable and find those gems. So they throw the whole entire bathtub out, right? The whole kitchen sink. They throw everything out when there could be some fine jewels or precious items in there. Let's think about how they mine gold, right? They take the dirt, they put it into a contraption, and that kind of pushes it down with water. And then what happens is the very fine pieces, okay, actually, they'll actually fall through into the trap. And so that's the part that we're trapping, and the dirt goes another way. And so when you think about that, thinking about, are you being someone, I don't want to say judge, but are you someone that is putting a label on something just because you had a bad experience? Maybe you went to a restaurant and you had bad service. Are you not willing to give that restaurant a try again? Or are you not willing to, better yet, try another restaurant just because you had a bad experience? Maybe you had somebody that came over your house to do carpentry work and they did a lousy job. Maybe you don't hire that person again, but do you never hire any carpenters again? No. So why are we doing it with the chocolates and this analogy? Because people in life are lazy. They don't want to have to work. They don't want to have to think. They just want to say, okay, if this is bad, that's bad. They're all bad, and that's just easy. And we'll just throw everything out. Right? That happens with batteries sometimes, right? One battery's bad. Well, they're all bad. Oh, let's test the other batteries first. Maybe there was a bad batch and there was a couple that were bad in there, right? Could be. People in life don't want to take the time. I got to grab a sip of water here. They don't want to take the time to figure out what it is that you need. They don't. They just want to cast out and say, okay, it's bad. And by saying it's bad, that's the easiest way for them to go. Very easy way. If you had a bottle of water like I do, and let's say one of your bottles of water didn't taste so good, would that mean that all water is bad? No. So stereotyping. Let's think about stereotyping for a moment because I think this is really what I'm trying to hone in on, hammer this point home. So for this analogy, I am going to give you the definition from our trusted friend, and I'm sure you know who that is, Merriam-Webster, right? Merriam-Webster. We definitely want to thank them and their team for it. And what is stereotype? So stereotype is a verb. To make a stereotype, to repeat without variation, make, hackened, to develop a mental stereotype about, as per Merriam Webster. So then, what does it mean when we say somebody is stereotyping? What does that mean? Because stereotype, stereotyping, stereotype, what is all this about? Because I mean, I think it's a little confusing if you ask me. And so, but it's something that I think we need to learn. Stereotyping is to make a stereotype, to repeat without variation, to make hacken, like we just said. So, for example, a plate cast from a printed surface is a stereotype, something conforming to a fixed or general pattern. So, if one person acts a certain way and they look a certain way, then we assume everyone's that way. Like if we have a worker that's on our staff and they're short and they have dark hair and they always start work late, then we create the stereotype that anyone that has dark hair that's short and that comes at least 5 minutes or more late to work must be a bad worker. Now, the fact that they're coming in late is not a good thing, but we can't stereotype. We do this with dates. Well, I had a date last week and it didn't work out. Therefore, if I have another date, it's probably not going to work out. I'm stereotyping, saying that everybody's like this person that I didn't like. Maybe the person did something to offend you, and you're presuming that everybody's going to do something to offend you. Let's think about new food, right? Maybe you've never had a certain type of food. Maybe you never had. One of them is eggplant. Let's call it baba ganoush, and that is basically eggplant that's kind of pureed and it can be spread. Okay, if we went out and said that the food we had a month ago was terrible because it was new, that means any food that I eat that's new is going to be bad. You see how this can really cause problems? But you can make stereotype working for you in a better way. Okay. If something doesn't go through, that must mean that I have the ability to solve anything. Now, that's a good example of stereotyping, but nobody does that. They do it from the negative point of view. Why? Because humans are lazy and they look for excuses to not work, to not think. They want it to be easy. But life was meant to challenge you, it was meant to help you dig deep and figure out what it is that you need to learn and what you need to do to become a better version of yourself and help everyone else become better versions of themselves. So, thinking about that box of chocolates. So, you have that round one that looks kind of a little funny. Are all round ones going to be bad? No, but you know that all round ones that have the same print on them are basically the same chocolate, right? So that's okay to stereotype that. But you don't want to say that any chocolate that you see through is bad, or that you see is not round. It doesn't have nuts in it. Either one of those qualities is a bad chocolate, and I should just throw it out. No, because there might be a chocolate that you might have never tasted before. And I think that's an important thing in our world. We need to be open to possibilities of new tastes, of new preferences. Even if we think we might not like it, we need to give it a chance. Well, ladies and gentlemen, by now you know who I am. I'm John C. Morley. I'm serial entrepreneur. It's been a privilege, a pleasure, and an honor to be with you this Monday evening as we're just about going to go into the wee hours of the next morning in about, it looks like about 29 minutes, but we'll be off before that. Of course, I would love you to like, support Curious Mark, engage with the channel, the content, comment below. Have you ever had a situation where you stereotype? Maybe it's a piece of chocolate, maybe it's something in your life. Tell me about it. I would love to hear it. Then tag your friends, your colleagues, and your associates. Share it out with everyone you know on social media. And then look for that key phrase. Yes, help keep our content free. And below that, you'll see the PayPal link. And make the choice, ladies and gentlemen, right now to buy my team and I a cup of coffee. We'll be so grateful with those pennies and those dollars that you invest in us. That we'll put that into new hardware, new technology, new equipment, new software, new staff, and even new facilities to continue to produce the most best jaw-dropping motivational content to get you off your chair, off your butt, into action, and start making deductions that'll help you become closer to success. I hope you have a great rest of your evening, as always. And, if these topics seem a little confusing, feel free to go back and watch them. These topics are online. So you can go back to my YouTube channel, John Space E Space MRLY Space Serial Entrepreneur, and you can find them there. You can find them in my John C. Morley Serial Entrepreneur LinkedIn group. So there's lots of places that you guys can find them. And I will see you guys tomorrow, which will be, you know what that is. That's going to be Tuesday. So enjoy the rest of your evening and start thinking about things. Are you really stereotyping people? And is that costing you steps that could bring you closer to success? Have a wonderful evening, everyone. See you soon.